So what if you have a potential employer says, yeah, I want to do this, the specific, I don't like a specific employee. I don't want him or her to get that benefit. Can they pick and choose or?
Well, that's a very good question, and I'd like to answer that in a way that really makes a little bit more sense. Because what happens in these situations is benefits basically have to be provided within parameters. And a perfect example of that is one of the first examples I gave you is the employer that wants to put as much away for themselves and as little away for their employees. That's a legal position to take, and it's one of the most common reasons for setup on retirement plans is that specific issue. And so what happens is the cost of coverage is what gets you to the promised land where you can get the maximum benefits. We have situations where for $5, $10, $15,000, an employer can tuck away $200,000, $300,000 for themselves. And that's legal. It's perfectly legal because it's within the parameters of the discrimination rules. And the discrimination rules are not a yes and no, you have to type thing. It's really, if you're going to get that maximum benefit, you have a cost, and that cost is you're going to have to cover some or all of your employees. So a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm working with trying to minimize or reduce the amount of employee costs vis-a-vis getting that maximum benefit for the owners.
So the reason obviously I'm an employment lawyer, so I'm curious to see, I hear this, well, they promised me these benefits, but I saw that other people got it, but I never got this, or I didn't contribute, or they didn't ask me for a contribution. So I guess I was trying to understand, how does that work? How does that?
Well, it comes together with the whole California employment law situation, because you can't discriminate in favor of highly compensated employees unless you follow the legal tenets, because they do have a bunch of these anti-discrimination rules that provide for some but not greatest coverage of employees. And so many times when you're dealing with a person who's been terminated, it's a question of whether they're entitled to this full benefit or not. Are there vesting requirements? Are there service requirements? Are there time requirements? Are there limitations within divisions? Because one of the things that are legal, if you know how to do it right, is you might have a business that builds widget, but it also services widgets. So there are two separate lines of business, and you can cover one line of business with retirement benefits or health benefits and not cover the other. And there's legal ways to do that. And that's what a lot of the rules are, is trying to create these, cutting out who gets benefits and who doesn't get benefits.